everyone, my name is Hazel Deloria, a second year college student of Bachelor of Arts in English Language Studies Block A, JRMC Main Campus, Dapitan City. And for today's video, I will be producing a critical analysis exemplifying comprehensive illustration on the linguistic behavior as determined by social factors, including the philological features of theories as deciphered on a case analysis among learners on the second language. Now, without further ado, let's begin. So I'm back. As what I have said earlier, this presentation talks about a critical analysis exemplifying comprehensive illustration on the linguistic behavior as determined by social factors, including the philological features of theories as deciphered on the case analysis among learners of the second language. Now let's go for the next slide. Okay, so before we go to the actual discussion of this assessment for the class Introduction to Language, Society, and Culture, let us at least unlock some important topics for this presentation. So, what are the linguistic behavior as determined by social factors? Okay, so linguistic behavior as social phenomenon bears traces on ethnicity, literacy, cultural level, goal setting, and the operational initiative due to the linguistic behavior as one of the fundamental types of social behavior. The relationship between cultures and the people occurs more efficiently. Now, in our course learning material, under the linguistic behavior determined by social factors, the ethnicity, literacy, cultural level, and goal setting, as well as the operational initiatives, are the important factors in making a language efficient. Indeed, as a multilingual community here in the Philippines, we are commonly known as multilingual people because of these social factors. Now let's proceed to the next slide. Okay, so a comprehensive illustration on the linguistic behavior as determined by social factors. Now for the illustration, I used this as an example. There are two examples, and this is the first one. So we speak indirectly to teach to each other, often alluding to what we mean to say. Why say, if you would pass the guacamole, that would be awesome, when we really mean pass the guacamole? The answer lies in our complex social brain and our desire to get on with others by removing the power implications of a direct order. In our society, we used to say our thoughts in other indirect way because some of our cultures forbid saying what we want to say. Say for example, in this example, what the man usually want to say is, please remove the guacamole, but in a nice way, he used the phrases, if you would pass the guacamole, that would be so awesome. So the girl initially react to what the man says. She became confused of what the man supposed to say. Now, in the goal setting, it is important to at least know which of these factors reflect and affect to the communication between the two individuals. Okay, so next, this is the second illustration about a comprehensive illustration on the linguistic behavior as determined by social factors. So we can find many examples of indirect language in business settings. Why say, we're counting on you to show leadership in our campaign for the future. We say we really mean it by give us money. Pinker calls it euphemistic scorning. Now, here in the Philippines, it is quite rampant because it is indeed an election period, and we can't really deny the fact that it is our culture that whenever there is a person who runs for a specific position, uh, people would ask some bribes, or they want uh, they want money from them, but in a nice way. Of course, they want also a support in return to that money. In a specific situation, it is a bad culture here in the community in the Philippines to practice it by doing some bribe to other people. And through language, we can misconcepts these phrases and thoughts by thinking that we really support that candidate without any in return. So these are also the social factors as the linguistic behavior occurs in our society. Okay, so let's move on to the philological features of theories as deciphered on a case analysis among the learners of the second language. Now we are now focusing on the second language learners. I personally I will not go further. We will just give examples to on what here in the Philippines and what I have also experienced about second language. Okay, so several factors related to students' first and second language shape their second language learning. These factors include the linguistic distance between two languages, a learner's level of proficiency in the native language and their knowledge of the second language, the dialect of native language spoken by the students, the relative status of students' language in the community, and societal attitudes towards the students' native language. Now, I will give example to this one as myself. I can speak three languages, specifically English, Bisaya, my native language, and Filipino, or one of the national language here in the Philippines. Since we know that language is a multilingual community, we can speak at least two to three language. Depending on what region or places we lived, and it is important to know the factors of the language you used to be as a communication. Now, in this case, most of the learners who have this bilingual language tend to have a difficulties on translating and using another language because they used to learn their mother tongue or their first language in order to learn another language. In my case, I whenever I speak in English, I always think of the Bisaya language, and then I immediately translate it into English. And as what you can see, I am not fluent in speaking English, but if you want me to speak a Bisaya, I can always talk whenever I want to talk because I don't need to translate or to think the ideas, the thoughts I wanted to share or to express, because I am confident enough to tell what I want to say. However, in English, I need to think the meaning of the word, the syntax of the language, as well as the semantics. So there are many kinds of consideration in learning a second language. So, in order for us to um, to be proficient in speaking both of the language, we must at least know the background of both language, and then we try to emancipate these languages into our societal issues and reflect it into our daily lives.